So thanks for joining us. This is also, just for you guys know, shot on Friday. So this is not a live broadcast. This will be a rerun playing tonight on Saturday when we play it. Hey guys, and welcome to another episode of Worlds Collide. Joined here again by Mitch, and this is episode 8. What are we going to be talking about today, Mitch?
We are talking about the Pheonix from the X-Men franchise. Jean Grey, the Pheonix, the Dark Pheonix.
She goes by many names now.
Marvel Girl, and Madeline Pryor, and... Yep.
The list goes on.
Yep.
So, this is in theaters right now under the title Dark Pheonix.
Oh, it's no longer in theaters.
It was. We should try... Yeah, so, for those that don't know, there was a recent cinematic release.
Yeah.
From the Marvel Universe.
Yeah, about 2 weeks ago. It's already pulled from the theaters.
I tried on Tuesday to actually go and purchase a ticket at my closest cinema. Yeah. There was only one of our many theaters in London that is actually still playing it.
And it's the only theater in London that still has the old uncomfy seats.
Yeah, I was like, oh man, I don't want to go there.
No.
I was like,
I
okay.
refuse.
Okay, well, I guess. And then tried watching online. No, nothing but a shitty cam. Turned that off after about 3 seconds.
Which, to be fair, there's a lot of people that I watched review this movie, and they rank this movie worse than X-Men, X-Men 3, X-Men United.
Last Stand.
Or Last Stand, yeah. Yeah.
Well, it's funny you mentioned that because I was talking to the lady there when I went to get the tickets Tuesday, and I was asking her, like, have you seen the movie? What do you think? She's actually, like, a huge Jean Grey fan.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, okay, so I'm actually talking to someone with some info.
Yeah.
She's like, yeah, this one was actually better than Last Stand. So she actually had a difference of opinion.
All right.
But apparently it was the same director who did that movie.
Yes. Or same writer, I think.
Who did this one.
Yeah.
And it was like, you fucked up twice?
Yeah.
On the same goddamn story.
Yeah. You repeated all the same mistakes.
Yeah, it's like...
Well, I don't know if he repeated all the same mistakes. I don't know if he killed Cyclops within the first 5 minutes. That was a shitty moment for that movie.
Oh yeah, like wasn't he the first one that she killed in Last Stand?
Yeah. Yeah. The love of her life, her husband. Yeah.
Thanos.
Yeah. Yeah. Off screen, we didn't get to see it.
Oh yeah, we didn't even see the death. It was just because she appeared, all of a sudden he disappeared.
Yeah, well, she kissed him. You saw the lines on his face, and then they go to a next scene.
Yeah, because she basically evaporated, fucking into particles. Like
pretty much, because when they go to that location, the next time, all you see is dust and Cyclops' glasses.
Yeah, just a little fucking sandstorm.
Yeah,
goggles.
Yeah.
So yeah, it did not do well this round either.
No.
Which is sad because I feel like Jean has a good story and it hasn't got told.
She does.
Well.
Okay, so yeah, let's talk about that.
Let's talk about that. So who's Jean? So we said we're talking about Pheonix.
Yes, but to talk about Pheonix, we do need to go into the character of Jean Grey.
And that's what I thought. Why don't we start with her origin?
Yeah.
So when was she first created? In which comic do you know?
Oh yeah, no, she was part of the first issue of the original X-Men back in 1963.
So let's start with her actual origin. So
yeah.
So 1963, she was one of Xavier's original group.
That's right, which was Jean Grey, Iceman, Cyclops, Beast, and Angel.
Oh, and Angel too.
Yeah.
Later to be known as Archangel.
Well, the Archangel happens when Apocalypse comes into play and comes into the picture.
Right, and gives him the extra powers. His wings turn to metal, right?
Well, first he cut off his own wings.
Yes.
Or he got his wings ripped off. I don't know.
They were damaged in some way, I believe.
Yeah.
Because he had the big feather wings.
Yeah.
And then Apocalypse goes, here, resume flight.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah, gave him the metal wings. Yeah. With the ability to shoot razor blades from his wings.
Throw them.
Yeah.
Like
Beast wasn't furry. Beast looked human. With big
big
hands.
Feet, right? Just big feet, big hands. He was just
with an opposable thumb on his feet, opposable toe
that he could grab and hook like a monkey.
Yeah.
And then Cyclops was his first one.
Yeah, Cyclops was the first.
So went to him in the orphanage, found him, said, "Hey, want to do something different with your life?"
Yeah. So that's why Cyclops is the biggest believer in Xavier's dream. because he was his first student.
Right. He had to buy into something, right? Otherwise, it's like, hey, want to join me? I got nothing.
And it's interesting that Cyclops didn't have anything.
Well, neither did Xavier at that point.
Well, Xavier had already lived quite a bit of his life already.
I guess, yeah, he was the...
when I say Cyclops didn't have anything...
No family left, right?
Yeah, as far as he knew, his parents were both dead. His brother was who knows where.
Brother?
Yeah, brother. The other brother was not known.
Right.
Actually, no, that brother wasn't even born yet.
Oh, fuck, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so then, where do you find Jean?
So, Jean, I think they just went and grabbed her from her parents' place. Like her parents called them from the computer. I don't really know
and
how.
Hey, we have a mutant. Please help her.
Pretty much.
Or did they want to get rid of her?
Probably wanted to get rid of her. Because
they don't know how to deal with it.
Well, she's a mutant, and back then, mutants were the stand-in for racism and anti-gay. Is what X-Men represents. What mutants represents.
Oh, is that what?
Yeah, it's anti-gay and anti-racism is what they represent. Yeah. So Jean Grey, how her powers developed. So mutants in the X-Men world usually develop their mutant power at puberty.
So that's what I thought, right?
Yeah. Usually something happens that'll trigger their power.
It's some kind of emotional conflict or
something
some
like
kind of
that.
Tragic thing or a highlight, right?
Yeah.
Basically a pivotal moment.
Yeah. So for Jean Grey, what happened was her best friend's name was Annie. Annie got hit by a car right in front of Jean. And Jean's power manifested at that moment and made a psychic link to her best friend as she was dying. So Jean Grey experienced Annie's death. So that caused her to shoot out a psychic flare, which Professor Xavier sensed.
Right.
Which is why he knew to go find Jean. But it also piqued the interest of the Pheonix Force.
Ah, so the Pheonix Force is an entity.
Yes. Yes. First thing that the X-Men movies have gotten wrong. She was not born with the X-Men, with the Pheonix
They've
Force.
always made it seem like it was just inside her.
No. No.
Deep down within, and one day it awakened.
No.
That was always the sense that I
Yeah.
had, even from like the old X-Men cartoons.
No. No. The 90s cartoon actually follows the actual story to the T.
The episode where they origined it and
Yeah,
saw her turn it into it. You know
Yeah,
what I mean?
Yeah. So how they do the Pheonix in the 90s cartoon is almost page for page right out of the comics.
Okay, then I gotta go back to that.
Yeah, I just recently rewatched it. It's excellent. It still holds up.
Oh, I love that cartoon. That was my Saturday morning. You know, you wake up at like 6 a.m., go downstairs, and X-Men is one of the reruns.
Yeah. X-Men and the 90s Spider-Man
Yep.
and the Batman animated series and Gargoyles.
Gargoyles. Fuck, I love Gargoyles.
Yeah.
They're making a live-action movie.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Nice.
We'll get that, and not sure on the year, but hopefully in the next 2.
Hopefully it's good.
They better do it right. They better do it right because it has potential.
Yeah. So here's the funny thing about Jean Grey. Before she became the Pheonix, when she was first created by Stan Lee and Steve Ditko back in the 1960s, she was useless. She was a damsel in distress. She was never effective. She was never powerful. She was the weakest member of the X-Men.
Really?
Constantly getting kidnapped or getting put in danger for the X-Men to go and save.
Even though she had the psychic abilities.
Yeah. She was the weakest member of the X-Men.
The psychic ability is one of the strongest abilities.
They've never explored that. So she was.
But Xavier.
I know. She was a plot device.
Well, who was the other female on the team? No one.
That was it until Storm joins the group.
And then, because that's after she basically levels her village or something in Africa or...
Oh, it's Storm, yeah.
Yeah. That's lame.
Yeah.
Because, like, they flipped the script.
Yeah.
They made her useless to the end-all, be-all in Pheonix for us. Like, well, okay, I guess we better get to that point.
Yes. All right, so...
Why did choose her if she's such this throwaway?
Well, because she wasn't really a throwaway. The writers wrote her as a throwaway character.
Okay, so that makes sense.
So when there was a period where the X-Men series got canceled because it just wasn't popular. It was like the mid-70s, early 70s, mid-70s. It just wasn't doing sales. So they canceled it for a little bit. Then they brought it back. And I forgot the writer's name. He's a pretty big name in the comic world. Let me go Google that here in 1 second.
Because what was her first appearance in comic?
Whose?
Jean's.
Jean's was in 1963.
Okay, and it was in the first edition of the X-Men comics, or was there a few kind of like one standalone where he finds Cyclops, one standalone where he finds Jean? How did it kind of play out, do you know?
So, I'm sorry, repeat the question?
In the comics, was there, like, say, in the first X-Men comic, was it Xavier meeting Cyclops and asking him to join the team, or did he kind of build the team all in the first edition?
Well, in the first edition, first issue, I never read the first issue, but I'm pretty sure the first issue starts and they're already a team.
Ah, okay.
So I don't think they actually show...
That was kind of my question. Did she ever get a standalone?
No.
Right? Or
no.
Was it like, all right, here's the Jean Grey, and Charles goes and meets her, meets the parents, does the whole thing, does her little backstory.
Correct if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure they've never done that.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. 90% sure they've never done that.
And that's okay. So who's the...
So Chris Claremont. He's a pretty big name in the comics.
And he's the one who basically brought it back to life here?
Yeah. When he brought it back, he felt like Jean Grey had a potential to be a badass character.
Yeah.
And she was always this useless character, and he wanted to make her more of a badass. So he pretty much made her from the weakest member of the X-Men to the strongest member of the X-Men by doing the whole Pheonix saga.
Okay, so it was upon doing that
yes.
that he gave her the upgrade.
Yes.
Okay.
So just like in the animated show happened, what happened was there was this anti-mutant uprising was going on. It was Project Wide Awake.
Okay.
Project Wide Awake is where they started bringing in the Sentinels and whatnot.
Yeah, because they had been keeping it all hushed up for years and years and years that mutants were a thing. Mutants actually were out there. It was kind of like that freak scenario, or there'd be the rare one. But now, I think they did a good job in the actual first X-Men movie of that. At the very start of the movie, Jean Grey's doing the summit, right? And they got the one minister or governor, and he's asking questions. Well, what about this? What about mutants? You're saying they're real? You're saying they're a threat, right?
Yeah.
And she's actually giving the presentation. No, this and that. She's diverting, deflecting.
Yeah.
I thought that was a good intro to kind of what was going on there in Wide Awake.
Yeah.
Right? They're trying to get the news out. They're trying to get the...
Well, no. Project Wide Awake is not a pro-mutant project. Project Wide Awake...
No. Yeah. It's anti-mutant, right? Yes. Because now they're spreading the word of the mutants. Yes. They're being like, they're out there. They're a threat. Watch out.
That's right.
You know, they're in your classrooms. They're in your schools.
That's right. So
that's what they try to do, getting everyone fearing.
The Sentinels were already around, created by Bolivar Trask. Remember, Bolivar Trask was played by Peter Dinklage?
Yes.
So, in the comics...
Trask Industries is the ones who, brought the Sentinels out.
Trask ends up dying, and Stephen Lang ends up taking over the Sentinel project. And he's the one who starts the the Wide Awake project, Project Wide Awake. So, with Stephen Lang was a little bit more unhinged. His goal was to kill all mutants. Like he was a complete bigot.
Now, was Trask trying to round them up, control them,
track them? Trask truthfully believed in what he was doing, that he believed that the mutant race were a threat to humans.
Okay.
Whereas Lang he was a bigot. He was a racist.
He's just like...
He hates them because they're different.
Yeah.
They're not American.
He hated them because he thought they posed a real threat to society. He's just like, no, just don't like them.
Yeah. So he ends up capturing a few of the X-Men and putting them in the space station, and the rest of the X-Men go out and try and save them.
Okay.
While they're on their way there, they get on the station and they save the other X-Men. Action happens. I'm going to go down beat for beat for the action. And whatnot.
Yeah, that's fine.
But when they go and save the X-Men, there is a solar flare that hits. It's about to hit the station. So they need to get out of there as quickly as possible and go back into Earth.
Before they all get nuked.
Yeah, and they weren't going to get out of the solar flare's way in time. So Jean Grey forces everybody to go into the back half of the ship. As she stays in the front half of the ship, she uses her psychic powers to absorb the astronauts the astronaut that was with them. She absorbed his knowledge of piloting the spaceship, so that she could become so she could pilot the ship. Then uses her telekinesis to put a force field around the shuttle to withstand the blast of the solar flare. And she also uses her psychic abilities to put a shield around the ship to protect it for the re-entry into the Earth's atmosphere.
Oh man, so she just bubbled that thing right up in plastic wrap.
Yeah, yeah. And this is the most power that she had ever displayed in up to that point. So that tremendous amount of psychic energy is what once again caught the Phoenix's attention.
Years later, kind of thing.
No,
right?
this is the moment.
You said though when she first.
Well, the first time it was just I need to pay attention to this one.
Right, and now that it caught the attention, it's like okay, yeah.
Now you're ready. Now you're ready. So the Pheonix, at that point, the Pheonix went inside her and...
Where did the Pheonix come from?
The Pheonix comes from the White Hot Room, also known as the Mcron crystal. So the Mcron crystal is this crystal that's in the middle of space, in the Shi'ar space.
Okay.
There's not a lot of concrete knowledge as to the origin of the Mcron crystal, but rumor has that the Mcron crystal comes from the very first planet that was created at the birth of the universe. So the Mcron crystal is as old as time. And
it's like the most ancient life force, essentially.
Pretty much. So inside the Mcron crystal, there's the White Hot Room, which is where the Pheonix is from.
Why is it called the White Hot Room?
Because it's white and hot.
Oh. Suitable. Okay.
Yeah.
And so the Pheonix just kind of hangs out there just chilling all day.
Yeah, I'll show you the White Hot Room.
So how did the Pheonix get out of this crystal, out of this White Hot Room, and into Jean?
So that's the White Hot Room. Like I said, it's white and it's hot.
Perfect. That's all we need to know.
Yeah. So, the Pheonix can do whatever it wants. It can leave the Mcron crystal whenever it wants.
Okay.
It's also the protector of the Mcron crystal. But, first and foremost, the Pheonix is a psychic being. So when it sensed Jean Grey's power, it wanted a host. It went and...
it just willed itself there.
That's right.
Cool.
So it ends up going into Jean Grey. Jean Grey is now the host of the Pheonix as the ship crashes into the ocean when they re-entered Earth.
Did she know it entered her? Was she willing?
I think...
Was she knowledgeable?
They weren't very clear on any of that, because when they land, she's unconscious. I think she might have been submerged and then just resurfaced. Everybody thought that she was dead.
No saving rolls. She was incapacitated.
That's right. So,
hey Kirby, come here. Got a little thunderstorm going on. Dogs are getting a little iffy here. Hey, it's okay, you. Come here. Come lay down.
I like a good thunderstorm.
Come lay down. It's okay. Lay down. Lay down.
So when Jean first woke up with the Pheonix Force, she knew the Pheonix Force was there, and the Pheonix Force it was kind of like a split personality for her.
Oh, okay. So she battled it at first.
Yeah.
She was kind of resisting it because was it trying to take control or was
No,
it trying to merge?
It was just trying to merge. It wasn't evil or anything like that. It's just a force. The Pheonix is the essence of life and death.
Does it have its own thought, like in the
Yes.
sense where
It's sentient.
are both minds kind of able to communicate?
Yeah. Sort of. Yeah.
Sort of.
It's very primal.
Well, yeah. I'm hungry.
Pretty much.
That's bad.
So when the Pheonix merged with Jean Grey, it started experiencing things that it had never experienced before, like
Emotions.
human emotions. So what happened was after Jean Grey became member of the became one with the Pheonix, she started developing these big powers and whatnot. But then in comes the Hellfire Club, the inner circle of the Hellfire Club.
Now, the Hellfire Club is present in...
They were in X-Men First Class.
Right. They're also in The Gifted.
Yes.
The current show.
Yes.
Now in The Gifted, that's probably like the new era
Yes.
of Hellfire Club, whereas in X-Men First Class, we got to see the originals.
That's right.
Magneto?
No, Magneto was never part of the Hellfire Club.
No, all right, he was battling against him. What's the other guy's name? Kevin Bacon.
Cortez. Yeah. So Cortez, pretty much the leader of the Hellfire Club, his ability is that he can absorb any kind of energy and
redirect it.
Well, not redirect. That's what they did in the movie. He could only transfer any type of energy, physical or energy based, into physical strength.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay, so it basically absorbs any hit.
Yeah.
And just gets physically stronger.
Yeah. There is this one comic
we didn't see that.
No.
We didn't see that at all.
Which is a shame because he uses it very creatively. I had this one issue where Cortez was... wait, is it Cortez? No, it's Shaw. Sebastian Shaw is his name. Cortez.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
No, it didn't sound right.
Didn't sound familiar.
Didn't sound right. Cortez.
Sebastian Shaw.
Yeah, Shaw.
Yeah, because he puts on the helmet.
Yeah. So, anyways,
that's why I said Magneto at first because
Yeah.
he had the similar helmet, right?
So he never had that helmet.
Yeah, because that's Magneto's helmet, was it not?
Yeah, Shaw never held that helmet.
Okay, and then who's the lady, the prison lady?
That's Emma Frost, the White Queen.
Is that her name? White Queen?
Yeah, she's the White Queen, also known as Emma Frost.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
She's a psychic too.
She is, it's depending on the writer, it's been said that she is equal in power to Xavier.
That's what I mean, yeah.
She's a really powerful telepath.
Yeah.
And on top of that, she also has the neat ability to change her skin into diamond.
Yeah, that's what I said, the prison chick, yeah. Okay, so between her, Sebastian Shaw, they're in the Hellfire Club. Who else are members of the Hellfire Club?
So the other notable member of the Hellfire Club, his name is Jason Wingard, also known as Mastermind.
Okay.
Jason Wingard has the ability to manipulate emotions.
That's powerful.
Not emotions. He has the ability to manipulate all 5 senses.
Oh, wow. It can fool your sight, fool your smell, fool your...
Yeah. So...
Mysterio was bad. This guy's worse.
Yeah. So, the Hellfire Club wants Jean Grey. They want her power. They want the power of the Pheonix Force. Because
so okay, that was another one of my questions.
They know about the Pheonix. They've actually worshipped the essence of the Pheonix. The Hellfire Club is an ancient organization, and they've worshipped the Pheonix Force for generations.
Okay.
Alright, so they've studied the Pheonix Force.
I'm curious to find out more about the Hellfire Club, but I think we should do an episode on them later. So.
Yeah. But the reason why I'm bringing that up is because Mastermind, Jason Wingard, they use him to manipulate Jean Grey. He uses his senses. Powers to manipulate her senses into making her believe that they are actual lovers. And he is actually her husband. So they get her to switch sides. She joined the Hellfire Club and thinking that Mastermind is her husband. And then when it was all said and done and the Pheonix finds out that Jason Wingard was messing with her mind, the Pheonix, that's where the Dark Pheonix came in. And the Dark Pheonix completely wiped Mastermind's mind, like zombie, like brain dead.
Oh, fuck.
Like, completely fucked him.
Oh, fuck.
Yeah. So that was the first time that... So,
we saw Malevolent.
And how that happened is that Wingard made Jean Grey believe that Cyclops died. So when she saw Cyclops die...
Her real love kicked in.
That's right. And all in one fell swoop. The Pheonix, who's never really experienced emotions, experienced true love, true hatred,
and true
fear, and loss. All these extreme emotions.
Snapped.
Yeah.
Grocery store just got shot up by the clerk.
Yeah.
Right? Like, fuck.
Yeah. So that's where the Dark Phoenix came in.
Oh my god.
So now the Dark Phoenix is now addicted to these strong emotions, to hate and fear and rage and
all the easy whimsical ones, right?
That's right. The first thing Jean Grey does as the Dark Phoenix is she flies off into space, goes into this far-off galaxy, wipes out a star, destroying an entire planet that wipes out an entire civilization, an entire race.
Oh my god.
Yeah. Yeah.
What race do you know?
Did I write it down? I don't think it really matters.
A race they created.
Wipe out the entire race. Yeah, it's just
to get wiped out.
But this race was a member of the Shi'ar Empire.
Okay, now, so that's what triggered them back into it.
That's right. So the Shi'ar Empire. So you know how we talked about the Kree and the Skrull. The Kree are a empire of soldiers, of geneticists trying to find a genetic perfection.
Are nomads essentially.
Yeah, and shapeshifters also have advanced technology. The Shi'ar Empire.
The Kree stole from.
That's right, from the Skrulls.
Right.
Now the Shi'ar Empire is more like the Federation. It's not one race, although the main race of the Shi'ar are the bird, kind of like the bird type people.
Right.
They have like wings and whatnot.
Yeah.
Or like wing flaps, but they are a conglomerate. Thank you. Of different races. They take on different races, different civilizations, different galaxies, and bring them into the fold of the Shi'ar Empire. They'll become part of the Shi'ar Empire.
Everyone assimilates into them.
That's right.
Okay.
So that's right. So this planet, this race of beings that got wiped out by the Pheonix
was one of this assimilated.
That's right.
Groups.
That's
okay,
right.
So
the Shi'ar needed to retaliate
against all of Earth or against the Pheonix.
Against the Pheonix.
Okay.
But the Pheonix ends up being Jean Grey goes back to Earth, so they go to Earth to go get her.
And then they're not just getting her.
No.
They're knocking on a lot of doors when they come to Earth.
Yes, but they send Gladiator.
Ooh, who's he?
And Gladiator, you might have seen pictures of him. He's this blue dude with a mohawk. He's got like a cape, very muscular. He's usually drawn very muscular and very tall. Gladiator. Here, let me find you a picture of the Gladiator. 1 second.
So he's basically a bounty hunter.
More than that. No, actually not even. Gladiator is part of the Shi'ar High Guard.
Okay.
That's Gladiator.
I've seen him before, but I didn't know who the hell he was.
For people at home, if you don't know who Gladiator is, that's Gladiator, if you can see that.
Yeah, definitely seen him. Never knew who he was. So,
here's the thing about Gladiator, and why I say it's a big deal that they sent Gladiator. Gladiator is he's part of the Royal Guard, the Shi'ar Royal Guard. Every member of the Shi'ar Royal Guard is a different member of a different race. They're all the most powerful of those races.
Marvel's Justice League of
Pretty
sorts.
much. They handpick the most powerful member of the most powerful races that are within the Shi'ar Empire to make this Royal Guard.
Smart.
And among them, Gladiator is the most powerful. And Gladiator has often been compared to Superman.
That's what I was going to guess.
Yeah. He has heat vision, moves faster than light, near invulnerability, strength. He's strong enough to chuck the Juggernaut like he was made out of paper. Yeah.
He's a big guy.
Yeah, so the funny thing about Gladiator, though, is that his power is limited by his own level of confidence. If you make him doubt himself, he becomes weaker. But if he's at full confidence, there's no stopping him. There's no beating him.
Yeah, there wouldn't be.
No. So anyways, he goes to Earth to try and retrieve the Pheonix. There's multiple plot lines that are going on at the same time as well. At the same time, there's the Ken, which is another member of the Shi'ar Empire. He's like the king. the Shi'ar Empire, the Emperor,
Yeah.
and his sister Lalandra. Lalandra is had a psychic connection with Xavier. They became friends, and while they're doing this communication, so during this whole entire Pheonix thing that's going on, this might have happened before. Yeah, this whole sorry, I'm getting things out of
Well,
order.
like you said, there's a whole bunch of timelines going on, right?
Yeah.
There's the Hellfire Club timeline. There's obviously the normal X-Men. There's Xavier.
So the whole entire Hellfire Club and Dark Phoenix, all that happens after the Kin.
Okay, so Ken is before that.
Yes. So what happens with the Kin, the Emperor of the Shi'ar Empire? He wants to get to the M-Crown Crystal. He wants to power the M-Crown Crystal for himself, so that he could rule the universe.
Okay, so
And
not a good guy.
No, and his sister Lalandra is a good guy. Wants to stop him because she thinks that if he gets to the M-Crown Crystal,
It's over.
he'll destroy the entire universe. The universe is gone because the M-Crown Crystal is pretty much the birth of the universe, almost, right? It could do whatever. Anybody who
It's the Life Stone.
That's right. So that was the first time the X-Men joined forces. The Starjammers were there as well, which is like the space faring pirates.
Okay.
They're kind of like the Guardians of the Galaxy.
Okay.
And they joined forces to stop the Kin from getting to the M-Crown Crystal. During that fight, the M-Crown Crystal actually cracks, and the energy starts spilling out, kind of like a black hole. Like it's like the end of the universe is going to happen because the M-Crown Crystal is going to crack. Once it's cracked, it's going to explode. So Jean Grey with the Pheonix uses the Pheonix Force to repair the M-Crown Crystal.
Oh, fuck. Okay, so that's good. That's a good save.
Yeah. So that all happens before she goes Dark Phoenix.
Right.
So now, go back to the Hellfire Club. Sorry for getting this out of
Back
order.
on
people.
Earth, after they've defeated him, the Shi'ar Empire now knows that she
Is
has
the Phoenix.
the Pheonix.
She's the host of the Phoenix.
Okay, so this fills in a couple more plot
That's
holes
right.
there. So
That's right.
they're aware, X-Men's aware, Hellfire's aware, everyone knows, okay, she's Pheonix. She's
Yes.
got it. And at this
Yes.
point, she's kept control.
Up to this point, yes.
Okay, so then after this event, they go back to Earth.
Yes. And then that's when the whole Hellfire thing happens.
Right, the
and
manipulations. They think Cyclops is dead. She snaps, erases him, fucks off into space.
destroys the planet.
And now Shi'ar that was just like, oh, thank you.
Or
Now like, the fuck?
That's right. Now they're off to kill her.
Gladiator, go get her.
Yeah. So they end up getting the X-Men. Like when the X-Men face off against the Royal Guard, they get squashed. They don't stand a chance.
Right.
So they get captured by the Shi'ar.
So that's after Gladiator fails.
No, Gladiator doesn't fail.
Oh, he didn't fail. He got sent alone.
Well, he got sent. Like they all got sent. He got sent and captured a few X-Men. I believe is what happened.
Okay.
And it's to stand trial for the destruction of the planet that the Phoenix had destroyed.
Right, and at that point on trial, they're probably like, well, it wasn't us.
Yeah.
And so then they send more of them back to get her.
No. This is where things get a little hazy. So where was I going with this? I think the trial of Pheonix. I think Jean Grey was already dead by then. Yeah, I lost my train of thought now. All right, we're gonna have to pause it there for a second.
Yeah. Because basically, Gladiator got sent, whooped whoever, brought him back.
No, so Gladiator. It wasn't just Gladiator. It was the entire Royal Guard. It's the reason why I put a focus on Gladiator. It's just I wanted to show like how
strong one of them was.
That's right. So Dark Phoenix series. Just gotta think back to the actual animated series, but like I said,
They had all those guys show up in the animated series?
yeah, all this happened in the animated series.
Oh,
as well.
wow.
Like I said, beat for beat.
Alright, I gotta
Like
watch that.
the M-Crown Crystal and the Ken trying to get to the M-Crown Crystal, cracking the crystal, the Phoenix repairing it, the Hellfire Club manipulating Jean Grey. That's all in the 90s animated series. All this happened in 90s animated
I'm gonna have to
series.
fucking just download it all.
Yeah. So somehow Jean Grey dies as the Dark Phoenix. I think she sacrifices herself, forces the Phoenix out.
And this is after destroying the planet and doing
Yes.
shit. And did she ever get hauled up to the Shi'ar to stand trial, or was it just a bunch of other X-Men that got captured?
It was a bunch of the other X-Men.
Okay. So
1982, X-Men rated Chris Claremont. Shortly after beginning, Jim Shooter greenlit new series and blah blah blah. 3-part cover plan to launch X-Factor involving X-Men. I don't really say it in here. But anyways,
that's okay.
what I wanted to get at is that she ends up dying. But afterwards, a new Jean Grey shows up on Earth named Madeline Pryor.
How's she Jean Grey?
She's a clone, but they don't know she's a clone. They think it's Jean Grey without the Pheonix.
Okay.
So after facing off against the Pheonix, they end up defeating the Pheonix somehow. They go back to Earth, and I don't know if it was right away, or if it was weeks later, or months later, or even
Who
a
was it
year
that defeated
later.
the Dark Phoenix?
It was the X-Men.
And this is after, so she never actually stood trial against the crimes that she did.
No, it's the X-Men who did. Because
Okay.
I remember they ended up having to face off against each other. And if Jean Grey would have been there, Jean Grey was there, but not as the Phoenix. Because she had the Phoenix Force, she would have wiped them all out.
Mm-hmm.
It wouldn't even be a chance.
Yeah.
It wouldn't even been a fight.
So somehow she was there without the Phoenix.
Yes, which is, I believe it was Madeline Pryor at the time.
Oh, see, that would make a lot of sense. So when Gladiator and the other honor guard essentially got sent,
Mm-hmm.
They rounded up a bunch of the X-Men.
Mm-hmm.
They thought they grabbed Jean.
Yeah.
They grabbed the clone.
Well, yeah, but like at the time, even in the comics, they never revealed she was a clone. Like even to the readers, she was Jean.
But going forward in time, we find out it must have been a clone.
Yes.
Um,
But not before Cyclops married this clone, this Madeline Pryor, and not before they gave birth to Cable.
there's a lot that happens in a very short time period here,
Yes.
it seems.
Yes. Because then Madeline Pryor ends up being evil. She becomes the Black Queen of the Hellfire Club, and then the real Jean Grey ends up coming back to life. And I actually have the issue where Scott and that Jean get married. That was like in 1998 or whatever.
Where do they find the time to get married? Like, they're trying to save the world and fight aliens and shit. Like,
Yeah. So this comic here, End Song, is another time where Jean Grey comes back. But it's not really Jean Grey, it's the Phoenix Force using the physical manifestation of Jean Grey. Jean Grey is dead a second time. I think killed by Wolverine the second time around.
Why do you know?
Because the Phoenix ends up taking over her body again.
Oh, again.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
Fucking Phoenix.
Yeah. Ever since the Phoenix and her bonded, they've been
Battling it back and forth.
well, they've been inseparable. There was moments where they don't have she doesn't have the Phoenix, but really in the end, her and the Phoenix are one and the same.
Do they fight for control, though, or is
No.
Jean letting the Phoenix do all this shit?
No, they explain in this comic here, Jean and the Phoenix have become one.
Okay, so it's actually Jean doing this shit.
Sort of. Jean is
Even when
really
she goes
Jean.
Dark Phoenix.
Well, there's no more Dark Phoenix. Sort of. There is Dark Phoenix later on, but Phoenix. So there is no Jean Grey. Like Jean Grey is dead. She lives in the White Hot Room. So Jean Grey has transcended the essence of Jean Grey, and is just now the Phoenix.
Okay. It's confusing, but
Yeah, comics.
I got
are weird.
it.
Comics are weird, especially X-Men comics.
they seem to be a little more out there.
Oh, they definitely are. With the space traveling and the multiple
travel.
timelines and alternate realities and clones and like I could talk about Psylocke, Betsy Braddock, and just her story alone is confusing as hell.
We'll stay away from that then.
Yeah.
Now. This is enough.
Yeah. So, but in this one here, the Pheonix is actually trying to find a new host in either Emma Frost or her daughters, the Stepford Cuckoos, who are also in The Gifted.
Stepford the triplets.
Yeah,
the quad. There are actually 5 of them, aren't there?
Yes. But 2 end up dying.
2 end up dying early.
Yes.
Like that's children. As children, don't they die?
No, that's teens.
Oh, it's okay.
Yeah. So the Stepford Cuckoos in the comics and Gifted, they're straight up called Frost.
Right.
But you don't find out they're actually Frosts. They're actually clones of Emma Frost. You don't actually find out until much, much later. Actually, I think in this one here, this is where you find out. That's why this one here, like this is the trait of all these comics combined, but these are the ones individually. So that's the Stepford Cuckoos.
Okay.
That's the Stepford Cuckoos.
And there's the 2 dead ones. And the other 3 still alive there.
Yeah. In this one here, you see Emma Frost holding one of the girls.
Oh, one of her children.
Yeah, one of the Stepford girls.
And what's that one again? Her in the middle?
Hmm. Yeah, that's her in the middle with the X-Men.
With the OG yellow outfits.
Yeah. Well, not really OG, actually.
No, they had ones before that. So they were like,
yeah.
Were blue the originals?
Yeah, a lot of blues.
Yeah.
It's
just Thunder.
Now the reason why I brought this comic here. Oh. This is Uncanny X-Men issue number 300. Alright? The reason why I brought this is just to showcase a little bit of Jean Grey's power. So, this is just a not very important story. It is an important story. So, this is the first appearance of the...
Nightcrawler?
No, not Nightcrawler. This is the first appearance of the Acolytes. The Acolytes is This is Cortez. Earlier I was talking about Cortez. This is Fabian Cortez. He has, like, psychic powers as well, I think.
Psychic strong, man.
Yeah. I don't have a good picture for Fabian Cortez for the audience, but the Acolytes are a group of mutants that follow blindly to Magneto's teachings.
Oh, God.
So they're Magneto's Acolytes.
So you know they're bad news.
Yeah. So...
There's Cortez there.
Yeah, there's a decent picture of Cortez right there. He's a product of the 90s, as you can tell. Just like Gambit and Jubilee are products of the 90s.
Yeah.
But in this, there's this battle against these acolytes, and you see Iceman using his ice powers to make himself stronger and bigger. But this is the one where Jean Grey, all right? So Jean Grey is getting attacked by this guy named Seamus Mellencamp. It's this guy right here.
This giant green thing?
Yeah. It's kind of like a lizard-type mutant.
Yeah.
His skin is super thick, bulletproof. He's got claws and fangs.
Yeah.
He's very lizard-like. Anyway, so here, I'll read this little blurb here to explain why I think Jean Grey is a badass. So, she calls this guy, she sees this guy and says, I didn't realize Mephisto had kids, big as he's so damn ugly, right?
Yeah.
So he says, sorry, not all mutants are drop-dead gorgeous, but my appearance fits my purpose because Seamus Mellencamp is your worst nightmare, babe. And so Jean Grey replies back, you might believe that, but I've already lived my worst nightmare more than once. Would you like me to share that with you? In my worst nightmare, I'm just myself. Not the Pheonix, not Madeline Pryor, not even Marvel Girl. I'm just Jean Grey, one of the most powerful sides on the planet. The frightening thing is, in my dream, I'm not afraid to lose myself and my ability. I cut loose completely. And she just blasts him completely out of the building.
Just boom.
Yeah.
Just throws him into space.
Yeah. Jean Grey's a badass.
Yeah.
Jean Grey's a badass. That's why I brought this issue with me.
That's pretty good.
Yeah.
And that's the last we see of that guy.
Yeah. He ended up showing up Multiple Man ends up fucking him up real good. Apparently, I was reading up a little bit on him real quick just to see what his powers were. Apparently, Multiple Man ends up creating a dupe, one of his dupes, inside this guy, and like pretty much like making like all icky. Yeah. I brought this one because I thought this one had something about the Pheonix, but that is actually, I don't know why there's a picture of him kissing her, because that is actually Rachel Summers, and that's just that's all kinds of icky.
Yeah.
Because Rachel is like, well, she's Scott and Jean's daughter from the future.
Logan's like at least 200 by now.
Yeah. And technically, she's negative 100 because she's from the future. She's from She's from
now that's
the Days of Future Past.
That's an age gap.
Yeah. Yeah, she's from the Days of Future Past future.
Oh fuck.
Yeah. Also known as Bishop's future.
Right. Now something brings us back to the Shi'ar. I remember you said the other day they were hunting down people in the Summers family line.
Yes.
And
so
the Greys.
There's another series. I couldn't find those comics. There's another series that happens. This is like around the same time as this End Song. So this is like mid 2000s.
So in End Song though, it's the climax of the Pheonix saga.
Well, no. This is like years later.
Okay.
This is years later. The Pheonix saga. This is like early 2000s as well.
End Song.
Yes.
Okay.
So the End of Greys was a series where the Shi'ar determined that anybody who has the Grey gene, family gene, has the potential to be a Pheonix host for the Pheonix Force. Yeah, not all of them will, and maybe not this generation, but probably the next generation, if not the generation after that, there will be another perfect host for the Pheonix Force, and it will be in the Grey gene. Which is funny, Jean Grey. But anyways, so the Shi'ar ends up sending a strike force to Earth, a team of assassins to wipe out all of Jean Grey's family, all her extended family. So there's this big, huge Grey family reunion, and Rachel Summers ends up going to visit them because it's like her first time, maybe not her first time meeting her grandparents or great-grandparents, or her grandparents. But she really hasn't had much communication with her grandparents. Mm-hmm. They don't like her. Like the grandmother really hates Rachel because Rachel represents everything that they missed out on Jean, because Jean never really came to visit her family while she was part of the X-Men. Jean became the Pheonix, then the Dark Pheonix, destroyed the entire planet, died, came back, died again. And her parents weren't involved in any of it, right? So they see Rachel as a representation of all the time they've lost with Jean, and they can never get back because she's dead now, again.
Okay, I get that.
Yeah. So anyway, so she shows up for this family reunion, and she feels like an outcast. And during this family reunion is when the Shi'ar strike force ends up showing up, and within a span of 5 seconds, they killed like 20 members of the family. Yeah.
Everyone's dead.
Yeah.
It's like, what? I just went to get a drink.
Yeah, pretty much. Pretty much.
Rachel? Rachel died?
No, Rachel survives.
Is she the only one?
I think so. Rachel has a portion of the Pheonix Force in her.
Already, okay.
I think she was actually born with it. Not really the Pheonix Force itself, but she does have limited pyrokinesis with her telekinesis and telepathy.
Oh,
she's even gone by the codename Pheonix.
So yeah, we can say she's got some in her.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Which is why this picture here.
Now, how long after is that from when Jean dies? I guess the second time.
Maybe 5 years later.
5 years later. Okay.
Maybe.
What's the timeline between her two deaths?
I don't know.
Okay.
Maybe 10 years. 10,
what were the
years.
cause of her deaths? Do we know?
The second time was Wolverine.
Okay.
Wolverine had to kill her because she was a Dark Phoenix again.
Yeah, and so that was kind of like the finale, Last Stand.
Yes.
Okay, what was her first death?
I don't remember. I remember reading up on it, watching a video of a guy going over it. Actually, Comics Explained, excellent source of information. He went over it a little bit, but it was kind of confusing to follow.
Do you remember what was involved? Was it more Shi'ar? Was it X-Men?
It was the X-Men fighting the Pheonix on the blue side of the moon. The blue side of the moon is the one area on the moon that actually has oxygen. It's where the Watcher has his home.
Who's the Watcher?
The Watcher. In Guardians 2, those 3 bald guys that Stan Lee was with.
Oh, yes.
Those are Watchers.
Where he's randomly in like the astronaut outfit just chilling there on the planet.
Those are Watchers. Uatu the Watcher is the Watcher who's supposed to watch over Earth. Watchers are a very powerful ancient race who their sole purpose is to watch and chronicle the events of the universe.
They're just taking diaries.
But their one rule is they never interfere. Well, Uatu has interfered on numerous occasions.
Oh, okay.
Uatu if it wasn't for Uatu's interference, I don't think Earth would have survived the first encounter of Galactus.
So we'll find out more about them when we do Fantastic Four, when we do Galactus.
That's right.
Get further into the wormhole.
That's right. The reason why I brought up those because I know that they had a fight with the Pheonix, with the Dark Phoenix on the blue side of the moon, which is the only area on the moon that actually has oxygen, which also happens to be where Uatu has his home.
Okay.
Which is why, and so getting back to material that I'm more familiar with, which is why during the Avengers versus X-Men, alright, this might make this show a little bit longer, but I need to explain this to explain Avengers versus X-Men. So
let's go.
I think I've explained in past episodes House of M.
Yes, multiple times.
All right.
It's the storyline of Captain Marvel and the Rogue Saga.
And Scarlet Witch.
And Scarlet Witch and Vision.
Scarlet Witch making the mutants the majority and the humans being
wiping
a minority.
out. Yeah.
And then after, when that event happened, she said no more mutants and wiped out 99% of the mutant population.
Yeah, and then there's just a few left, like Cyclops and...
Yeah, there was 192 mutants left on Earth.
Wow.
Yeah. So, after that event, no new mutants were ever being born. There was no new mutants being created until Hope Summers. Now, she's not really a Summers, but she just adopted the name Summers. But Hope was the first mutant to be born since House of M.
By who?
I don't recall. I don't recall who her parents are.
That's okay.
But there was 2 different timelines that come into play here. Like we were saying earlier, the X-Men stories are weird and complicated, especially when you go into the multiple timelines.
Yeah.
There are 2 different possible futures out there. There's Bishop's future, which is the Days of Future Past future with the Sentinels. And then you have Cable's future, where it's Apocalypse that takes over the world. Alright? 2 different possible futures.
So we saw them beat Apocalypse. Did we not?
There's no beating Apocalypse.
They caved in his tomb, remember?
Are you talking about the movie?
Yeah.
Yeah, the movie doesn't matter.
But that's the storyline we've seen.
Yeah.
Where
but even
they
then,
showed us both timelines.
Yeah.
Right? Because the movie starts in Bishops.
Yeah.
Ends in the Apocalypse takeover, but then they beat Apocalypse.
Yeah. And even then, there's no real beating Apocalypse.
No, he just got caved in for a bit.
Yeah. He'll awaken 100 years later. It doesn't matter to him.
That's what I mean.
But there is a future where Apocalypse ends up taking over the world, and that's the future that Cable is from.
Okay.
So in this future, there was a virus, the phage virus, that ends up infecting mutants, killing a bunch of mutants that was created by Apocalypse. Cable is infected by that virus as well. So Cable ends up going to the present time to try and stop that virus from getting created and help defeat Apocalypse. But anyways, so when Hope was born, according to Bishop, Hope was the catalyst for his future, for the Sentinels taking over and everything going to shit.
But for Cable,
she was the savior.
She's the cure.
Yes. So there was this big series of Cable
First Bishop.
jumping from timeline to timeline, from world to world, carrying this child, while Bishop is hunting them throughout time. So in this time, Cable is training her, teaching her how to survive, how to fight, how to use her powers. So Hope grows up to be somewhat of a badass.
Yeah, probably. Like, she's on the run, fighting to survive her whole life, being trained
by Cable.
By a badass.
Yeah. So I don't really know how that concluded. This is about when I had to stop collecting comics because I was poor.
That happens sometimes.
Yeah. But I know that all of this leads up to the Avengers vs. X-Men.
Right.
So Hope has the ability, her mutant power is that she has the powers, not just mutant powers, she has the powers of beings that are in her vicinity. And it's a pretty big vicinity.
Wow.
Yeah, so she's pretty OP.
And she gets all the powers.
Yeah. She's kind of like, you ever watch
Heroes?
Heroes?
Yeah.
She's like Peter.
But she's like his dad, Peter's dad.
Yeah.
Except for she doesn't take their power. She just gains it.
Yeah. Yeah. So she's
Peter
also
can only hold one at a time, couldn't he?
No, there was a point where he was able to hold.
He did end up getting to hold them.
He got nerfed after the first season, but in the first season he was uber powerful.
Yeah, he was pure patrol.
Yeah. So the reason why I brought this up is because Hope ends up becoming. The X-Men find out, and the Avengers find out that Hope is a potential new host, the next host for the Pheonix Force. The Pheonix
in trouble.
Oh, and how they notice is because Nova, the new Nova, was traveling through space and encountered the Pheonix and got his ass kicked and was trying to rush his way to Earth to warn everybody that the Pheonix is coming. So when he arrived and warned everybody that the Pheonix is coming, the Avengers saw this as a threat. The X-Men saw this as potential because Hope is going to be the next host for the Pheonix Force. And the Pheonix has the ability to create life. More importantly, has the ability to... Exactly. So they saw the return of the Pheonix as the return of their race, the mutant kind.
But it's hard to call mutants a race.
Yeah.
Because it's a whole bunch of one single man races.
That's right.
So it's...
But
it was kind of a good thing that they weren't making more mutants.
Yeah. It
wasn't a negative thing.
No.
It was just a thing.
Yeah.
They saw it negatively.
Yeah.
Shame on mutants.
So, they go and try and meet up with the Pheonix with Hope on the last location where the first location where the Pheonix died. The blue side of the moon. They go on the blue side of the moon to meet the Pheonix and have Hope be the new host for the Pheonix Force. The Avengers show up, ends up fighting the X-Men. Things go wrong, and instead of the Pheonix going into Hope,
Cyclops.
It goes into 5 different hosts.
Cyclops is one of them, isn't he?
Cyclops is one of them. Frost is one of them.
Oh yeah, okay.
Namor the Submariner is one of them.
Yep.
Because Namor is a mutant.
Yeah, I guess he is.
Yeah, he was actually for a while. He was titled the First Mutant.
Okay.
He's not, but he was
Apocalypse
the first.
is.
Yeah. Even then, we find out he's not even the first mutant.
Oh, who
there was
is?
one before him. I forgot her name.
Okay.
So you got Cyclops, you got Frost, you got Namor the Submariner, you have Magique, which is Colossus' sister, who has the ability to warp reality and use magic, create portals to other dimensions.
Fucking magic. Is that the one that we see in Days of Future Past opening up the purple zones?
No, that's Blink.
Oh, right. Let me see her in The Gifted.
Yes.
Okay.
And Colossus. But not just Colossus, Juggernaut Colossus.
What's the difference?
It's Colossus with the Gem of Sidorak. So it's Colossus with Juggernaut's power. So it's Colossus with Juggernaut's power with the Pheonix form. So, just to cut things short, because the Avengers vs. X-Men is a pretty long series.
Oh, yeah, we could probably do an event just with that, right?
Yeah. But the cliff notes are, with those 5 becoming the Pheonix, they end up going back to Earth, and they started their own faction of their own school. They're promoting that they are protecting mutants. They want to bring back mutant kind to their former strength. But as things progress, they start seeing that the Pheonix is starting to corrupt the 5 hosts. The 5 hosts starts being a little bit power hungry, and then they start becoming a little bit more like dictators. And
less asking, more telling.
Exactly. Because absolute power corrupts absolutely, right? And the Pheonix Force is absolute power.
Oh, fuck yeah, there's nothing above it, or it thinks it's the end-all, be-all, right?
Yeah. It is one of the most powerful beings in the...
existence of the universe.
Not beyond that. The Omniverse.
Oh, fuck, okay, so then, yeah.
Yeah, so here's one thing about the Pheonix Force. The Pheonix Force, so you know how there's multiple universes and multiple realities. The Pheonix Force is the same Pheonix Force throughout the entire multiverse, throughout the entire...
It is that
Omniverse.
one entity.
That's right.
So in all universes, it's always Jean Grey?
No, not that it's always Jean Grey, but it's always the same Pheonix Force.
Okay. Okay.
Right? So, it exists in all realities.
Look at it. Face in the corner.
So, they got corrupted. Namor attacks Wakanda.
Oh, fuck.
Out of jealousy or paranoia. I forgot why he attacked Wakanda. But
they were allies before, were they not?
Yeah, they were.
And Panther.
Yeah. But yeah, as the Pheonix, he attacks Wakanda. He brings a big, huge tidal wave to Wakanda, wipes out Wakanda.
Oh, fuck.
Yeah. So now, after all of that was said and done, after this entire event happened, ever since then, Namor and Black Panther, they don't like each other.
Yeah, you can imagine. Well, we're supposed to see Namor in the next Black Panther, I think.
That'd be awesome.
I've heard rumor Black Panther 2 might feature Namor.
That'd be awesome.
Yeah, Killmonger will be back, and there will be another one. I forget who.
I don't know.
Somebody else.
Yeah. But Namor gets defeated by the forces of Wakanda.
Okay.
I think the Avengers showed up as well to try and fight him off. They do fight.
He's still got the Pheonix Force at this point?
Yes, but split between 5 different hosts, the Pheonix isn't as powerful.
It's able to be beat.
That's right. So they beat Namor, and by defeating Namor, his portion of the Pheonix Force gets redistributed with the 4 remaining members.
His fizzles out, the other, all 4 kind of...
Exactly.
Level up.
Exactly. And they all noticed the boost in power that they got. So now they realize that every time one of them drops, the other...
now they're going for each other.
Pretty much. So the next 2 to drop is Colossus and Magique. They end up going to Hell for some reason. I don't remember why they went to Hell. I think they had to go to Hell to go retrieve somebody. I think some of the X-Men were trapped in Hell by Magique. So the Avengers were going there to save them, to recruit them, to help them fight back against the Phoenix 4 now.
Yeah.
And because now it's the Phoenix versus the world now. Is what the story has become. They don't have any more allies. It is the Phoenix 4 versus the world.
Yeah, well, yeah, get to that point, right? Because they're corrupting.
Yeah.
They're just losing their sense of right and wrong, and the Pheonix is one entity that's overwhelming.
Yeah.
All of them.
Yeah.
But towards one good cause. So, see, that's where I'm confused. So if each of them have a piece of this single entity, and that single entity is merged with each of them, is it not at the same time telling them not to fight each other? Because it's fighting itself?
No. No, because they still have... It's just...
It's a 50-50 brain split still.
Yeah.
So 50 of it's like, well, fuck you.
Yeah, it's like it created 4 versions of itself.
Okay.
Yeah. So, while they were in hell, both Magique and Colossus showed up, and to help everyone escape, Spider-Man stayed behind. So Spider-Man versus Colossus, Juggernaut Pheonix, and Magique Pheonix at the same time. So, obviously Spider-Man's not going to stand a chance. But he uses intelligence, his speed, and his mouth above all else to taunt Magique and Colossus into fighting each other. And
leave it to Spider-Man to do something like that. That is Spidey.
Yeah. So Spider-Man was beaten to near death, obviously.
Yeah.
But not before.
Pitting them against each other.
Yeah. And they end up taking each other out. So now the Phoenix 4 are now down to Phoenix 2. So Spider-Man alone took out 2 hosts of the Phoenix.
That's pretty talented.
Yeah.
And it's like you said, he uses wits.
Yeah.
You don't always have to fight brawn for brawn.
Nope.
That's good. I like that.
So then
now it's Emma,
Frost, and Cyclops.
And I know who's left. I know who the final one is.
Yeah. Well, in the big showdown, Cyclops actually sacrifices Emma Frost. Pretty much kills her himself so he could take on her Phoenix Force to become powerful enough to
defeat everyone else.
That's right.
That's fighting them. And everyone was coming for the 2 of them. He said, well, fuck you. I don't need you. I can take them all alone.
Yeah. So now Scott is the sole holder of the Phoenix Force. And
it began with one, it ends with one.
Yeah. So this entire time, Xavier hasn't really been seen. So Xavier shows up at this point and tries to talk to his first student, but the person he's always considered his own son, his real son, right? And Cyclops has always considered Xavier like his father, the closest thing he's ever had to a father. But Cyclops kills him.
Yeah, he kills Charles.
Yeah.
He just dusts him.
Yeah. So how they defeat Cyclops was a combination of powers of Scarlet Witch and Rachel Summers. So Scarlet Witch, Rachel Summers, and Hope Summers combine their powers to expel the Phoenix Force.
3 psychics essentially pushing it out.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, 2 psychics and 1 who has the ability to warp reality.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah. So, that was just another story of the Phoenix, but I think we kind of got off rails a little bit. Let's bring it back to Jean Grey and the Phoenix.
The original Phoenix.
Yeah, and why the movies failed.
Okay.
Is really what I wanted to talk about in this show, in this episode.
Well,
because the animated show did it perfectly, page for page. If you want to know what happened in the Phoenix Saga, the Dark Phoenix Saga, go watch the 90s cartoon. They do it perfectly. So even I didn't do it justice. I stumbled a bunch of times. I'm not very clear on how Jean Grey dies the first time.
Well, it sounds like a bit of a conflicted story, a little bit of confusing timelines, multiple events going on at once, right? And there's splits, and there's deaths, and there's resurrections, and there's...
Yeah. But see, and this is where the movies fail, in my opinion.
They didn't do any of that.
Well, no, because they did the same thing for both movies.
It was innate, where it awoken.
Yeah, it was just a one shot, right? They try to do the entire Phoenix story in one movie.
Oh yeah. They should have broken it down. It's like we've said with Doom before. You can't intro Fantastic Four and Doom and have a bad guy in a catastrophic event and this and this and this and this.
Yeah.
Fuck off. Too much. Less is more, guys. Do less better, and we will like it more.
Yeah. Like, another big reason why the Phoenix hasn't worked in the movies is because the movies, they didn't put enough focus on Scott and Jean. And without a good enough development of those 2 characters specifically, you can't do the Phoenix right.
The problem with X-Men is it's been Wolverine driven.
Yes.
Since the start. It's been 15 plus years of Wolverine. And
yeah.
I fucking love Wolverine.
Me too. But the movies are called the X-Men.
Yeah, not the guy who's been around for 200 years, 160 or more of which was prior X-Men even being in existence.
Yeah. Well, I'm quite glad Disney has the X-Men now.
Yeah, because now you can do X-Men without having to just show Wolverine.
Yes. Because I think what happened is that Fox didn't want to take a chance on the rest of the X-Men. They knew
Wolverine was such a big seller.
Wolverine is money. They knew Wolverine is money.
Guy can basically not be killed.
Yeah.
He's just a vicious...
He's total badass.
Badass.
He's complete badass.
He's charismatic and not at the same time.
Yeah. He's also... This is Fox we're talking about. And Wolverine is very masculine.
Very, very masculine. And he's Canadian.
Yes. Yes, he is.
He's our Canadian hero. Yeah.
Yes.
And Hugh Jackman put on a fucking hell of a show.
Yes, he did.
For 15 goddamn years.
Yes, he did.
So we'll give it to him.
But I would like to see more of a focus of the team when Disney takes over. I want to see more development. I want to see more screen time of Cyclops and Jean Grey, showing how much of a badass both of them could be. I want them to show how much of a badass Iceman could be, and Beast.
They started by bringing in Iceman strong in the first 1-2 movies, and then he kind of fizzled out. Melted. He basically melted on screen.
I'm gonna do an episode of Iceman.
Because Iceman's not a badass. He's like a level 4, level 5 mutant. Because what's the tiers of mutant?
Well, he's an Omega. He's an Omega level mutant.
Exactly, because he can essentially turn your lungs to ice. He can take the air away from you. He can
more than that.
Yeah,
more than that. There was a time where we're getting way off topic. This is not even related to Jim,
X-Men.
But Emma Frost ends up taking over Iceman's body, Iceman's mind, and while she's in the Iceman's mind, she started to realize that you have never really tapped into your full potential. So she started to use his full potential. She is the one who realized that Iceman is powerful enough to freeze the Earth's atmosphere. That's how powerful Iceman is.
Wow.
Yeah.
And stop.
Yeah. Yeah. He's more powerful than Storm. And Storm is really powerful.
Yeah. Oh yeah, wind, air currents, lightning, like electricity, static. And
yeah, that's the other thing about the X-Men movies that they didn't do really well is Storm. I mean, she's always using lightning, but like she could summon typhoons and tornadoes.
The problem with the X-Men movies is they went after actors, right? Hollywood actors.
Yeah. To
drive the movie rather than sticking to the characters of the X-Men.
Yes.
Because when you say Storm, I think Halle Berry. That's a problem.
It is a problem.
I should think Storm.
Yes. Which is why I was watching Nostalgia Critic do a review of the first X-Men movie. And during the review, they said, could you imagine how amazing it would have been if they could have gotten one of the girls that plays the honor guard for Black Panther to play Storm?
Oh, God, that would have been good.
Right?
Yeah. Or like even Michonne from Walking Dead or something, right?
Well, she is one of the honor guards.
She's the main honor guy.
Yeah.
But like, point proven.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's like you just threw Halle Berry in because Halle Berry.
Yeah.
Same thing with Hugh Jackman. Now Hugh Jackman played the role.
Yes.
He
played the role. He didn't do much for in a Canadian accent, much like Halle Berry didn't do much for her doing an African accent.
No. No, like the accents are gone, the origins of the story, the true homage and patronage, like they didn't do it justice.
No. They did get Wolverine right, though. They did get his heart and his motivations correct in the movies.
It's not hard, though, for him.
No.
It's really not.
Man's an unstoppable
unstoppable machine of soldier, and then one day they said, "Hey, let's fucking bonk you on the head and turn your bones to iron and adamantium and go do what you were doing before, but better."
And he has his moments of berserker rage.
Yeah.
Which they really only showed his berserker rage in
Logan.
Well, in X-Men 2, when they were attacking the mansion, he went a little berserker rage in there.
That was pretty good when he actually killed everyone.
Yeah.
Now, okay, so we're getting way off topic.
Yes.
We'll bring it back to Jean.
Yes. I think I pretty much talked everything I wanted to talk about. That's the main thing I wanted to talk about. This is why the movies haven't done the story correctly, and why people who don't know the comics should care. I think Disney will maybe do a proper Pheonix story, but with under the guidance of Kevin Feige, they're gonna do a slow burn and not just blow their load in one movie.
Slower.
Yeah.
Better.
Yeah.
Now, I like what they were doing with Cyclops so far, because in like First Class and etc., they're starting to intro him.
Yes.
But slowly, we really haven't seen anything of him.
No.
We've seen all his brothers, basically, but not him.
Yeah. Well, one of his
We've
brothers.
seen Havoc.
Yes.
Seen Havoc come and go already.
Yeah.
But Scott, literally all we saw was him just running through a hallway fucking...
Yeah.
That's all we've seen of Cyclops.
Yeah.
Prior to that, all we've seen is him and Wolverine and Jean's fucking love triangle.
Yeah. I've got so many comics that shows why I like Cyclops. Cyclops is one of my favorite members of the X-Men. People say Cyclops is the most hated members. I love Cyclops. I'm pro Cyclops.
He was always kind of meh to me.
Well, it's because the 90s cartoon really didn't showcase Cyclops as being a badass.
He was just the leader.
And the Boy Scout.
Yeah.
And straight and narrow.
Yeah, which made him blah.
Yeah.
Makes him blah compared to Wolverine.
Yeah.
Blah.
But in the comics, not so much.
That's
He's
that's what
much more of a badass.
I can't wait for when we do Cyclops.
Yeah.
Okay, so since we've covered everything that we wanted to now, we've done all the ones that we said we were going to do. We did our Doom Patrol. We did our Mysterio. Well, I was going to say that's the only one left.
Yeah.
So is that what's on the agenda here for next week?
Yes.
Okay. So Aquaman next week, next Saturday, 8 p.m.
At the new location?
At the new location.
Nice.
We'll be in our new studio. Hopefully, it's not an Echo Dome. It's a little echoey down there right now, but we'll insulate, board up, and soundproof the shit out of that place.
Figure it out.
So with that said, next week, Aquaman. And we'll keep you guys in the dark for what the following week is, because we're going to change our setup just a bit.
Yeah.
New location, new script. Things will be different, so stay tuned.
Yeah.
So thanks for joining us. This is also, just for you guys to know, shot on Friday. So this is not a live broadcast. This will be a rerun playing tonight on Saturday when we play it. Other than that, take care, guys.
Happy Canada Day.
See ya.